Welcome to Shells After Dark Archives, the podcast where the veil between the known and the unknown is lifted. I'm your host Shell, and I'm here to guide you through the shadows of the supernatural. Here, we dive into chilling stories, unexplained mysteries, and real-life encounters with the paranormal. But this isn't just about storytelling, it's about the people behind the experiences. From ghost hunters to psychic mediums, UFO researchers to cryptid trackers, I'll be sitting down with those who dare to explore the strange and unusual. So, whether you're a skeptic, a believer, or just curious, get ready to embrace the unknown.
Turn off the lights, settle in, and prepare to journey into the After Dark archives.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shell's Spooky Stories, the After Dark Archives. And I'm very happy to say that today I am joined by Reverend Mother Alyson Dunlop Shanes. Did I get that? I got that right, didn't I?
You got that perfect. Well done.
I suddenly thought that was right, yeah. I'm not very good with long titles. I struggle with my own name sometimes, so don't worry.
Yeah, I don't use that a lot, but because it's there and it sounds impressive.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does.
There's an opportunity to use it.
Well, when the opportunity arises, why not?
Exactly.
So thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to talk to you. I've been delving a bit into your background, but which is fascinating. So I would really love if we started with, if you just told everyone kind of what you do and then how you actually started this whole journey, because you've transitioned quite a bit.
Oh, very, very much so. I became a priest with the Old Catholic Apostolic Church last year. I think it was last June or July last year. Went down to Bolton and I was ordained down there.
Okay.
I'd been a deacon with them for a while, and before that I was a deacon in another church. I'd been made a deacon in another church, so that was just transferred over to the Old Catholic, the OCAC. And now I run a church, Our Lady of the Mystical Rose in the Glasgow Theosophical Society. I'm also an exorcist as well, and that came about because of my own experiences, really. And what led up to it, really, because I came through a Protestant background, Church of Scotland, and that wasn't ever forced on me. I was allowed to make my own decisions. If I wanted to go to church with mum, that was okay. Yeah. And quite often I did, primarily because I enjoyed the singing. I love singing, particularly spiritual songs. And that was a big motivation for me to go to church on a Sunday. After that, I started, when you're around about 13, 14, and your mortality kind of hits you. Well, it did anyway. Somebody that we knew, was close family friend, died, and suddenly that was in my head, and this fear was there that we don't live forever. So that propelled me on a journey through spiritualism. So I started going to a spiritualist church. I later found out that my brother and my sister-in-law also went to spiritualist churches, and that my great-grandmother had been a spiritualist as well.
Oh, wow.
So there was something sort of in the family, I suppose, that we did sort of like the sort of weird and spooky sort of things, as long as we didn't deem it too dangerous.
Yeah.
Not quite stepping over that line, although at times I did, so from the age of 14 I was doing Ouija boards all the time, with friends, and I was fortunate that I had what might be called a doorkeeper in spiritualism. So a guardian angel or a guardian spirit who was there to stop any bad spirits coming through. And he told me his name was Norman. So I met him the very first time I did the board. He told me his name was Norman. And every time he was on the board, I knew that it was him, and I knew that we were protected, and we were. There was only ever one particularly bad experience, and it spelled out Satan's angry. And then this wind, this sound of this when I actually felt it go past my ear. It came from the hallway. So we were sitting in the kitchen. The hallway was just through the back. And it came through the hallway. I felt it go past my ear, and it shot out the window. And that was it for that night anyway. It wasn't like the end of it, but for that night anyway. So I had a few paranormal experiences using the board, and then someone else that I knew. It's a huge long story. I mention it in the book, that a few things that happened. But years later, I had an incubus experience, and this was something I had never. I didn't really know anything about it. And then suddenly, I woke up. The room was a strange shade of blue. I couldn't waken my partner, and then I was flipped onto my back, and this demonic creature with long dark hair, not unlike mine actually. There was sort of ribbons on it as well. No, I don't have ribbons, but the same kind of idea. And he was trying to cut my throat with this one long fingernail that he had, this razor sharp long fingernail that he had. And he said, "You thought you could get away from me, didn't you?" And that sort of, that was terrifying.
I can imagine.
So that was the first time I ever really had an experience of that sort of thing. And now I would ask people, have you experienced this? All throughout uni, all my friends, and I would have other experiences that I don't think I've really mentioned in the book, but I would have other experiences, and I would say to my friends, have you experienced this? And they would look at me like, no, never experienced.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? What are you on?
Yeah.
These kind of looks, and I tried to sort of talk about it a bit, but I wasn't sure whether, is this a real thing, or is it a sleep disorder? Because obviously it could be something like that, where maybe I'm having night terrors. Maybe when I was younger, I sleptwalked a couple of times. Only a couple of times, really. It wasn't a major thing, although I could tell you something quite funny that, well, it wasn't really that funny, but in the middle of the night, I got up and sort of met my mum. I don't know whether she was going to the toilet or whatever. I was sleepwalking, but I started swearing at her, like real profanities.
Yeah.
I would have had no recollection of this in the morning, and my dad wasn't speaking to me, and I wondered why. And my mum, when I think she must have known this is so unlike me. I'm not saying I was an angel or anything like that, but I wasn't that bad, you know.
Yeah.
I tended to
There's
try
misbehaving, and then there's that.
Yeah, I didn't even really misbehave that much, to be perfectly honest. But, I think my rebellion came when I was like in my 30s and at university. But
Yeah.
up to that, I was quite good. And so, yeah, so I went through and I said to him, I don't remember saying what, you know, that.
Yeah.
I don't remember it. And he just sort of went, okay then. And that was it, you know.
Never mentioned again.
Yeah. So, but that was a rarity, really. And so, yeah, this subject, of demons, I started getting into that a bit later, when I started going into the paranormal field again, and started running my own group, and it then started to run the Scottish Conference as well. And it was really when I started to research for a talk on demons that some really weird things started happening in the flat. This was another flat, actually. And, well, somebody had come to fix the boiler, and when they left, although I got a weird feeling about this guy, when he left, I felt like I wasn't alone in the flat. I felt like somebody else was there and that I was being watched. And it wasn't something that I had happened really before. I think only once in the high-rise flat where I'd been the time before, the previous flat. I think like there, I thought somebody had come through and was standing. I thought it was my boyfriend. And when I turned, there was nobody there. That was the only time that something like that happened. But I actually felt like there was something there.
Yeah.
And there was noises and things like that. And it kind of escalated over the weeks to shelves shaking, bed shaking, being attacked by an invisible force.
Blimey.
So that led to me deciding I'm going to do an exorcism in my flat. If I remember rightly, it's getting the timeline when the years go by.
It's hard to remember, isn't it?
What happened first there? So I'd been baptised in 2018, just following quite a serious illness that I was hospitalised with. And I decided that I was going to get baptised, and my mum bought me, I asked her to, bought me the Ritual Romanum. So it had exorcisms in it, so this was a baptism gift. And I used that to perform an exorcism. And shortly after, there were sounds of hailstones on the ceiling, like hailstones on glass, that kind of sound. Wow. Millions of them banging on the ceiling, and there was nothing to see. And my cats were transfixed, you know.
Yeah.
Lady upstairs had she was like, I've got no idea what that could have been. And I then later read that these were everything that happened to me had happened to the priest in Begone Satan. It was a book written about an exorcism, about a possession. And everything, including the hailstones on the ceiling, which apparently marked the end of the exorcism, and that it had been successful, and the energy, the dark energy, was dispersing. So wow. that was quite something. And you know, as the years go on and not much happens, you end up, you think, did that really, you know, is there really anything? And then you remember like these kind of things and you think, well, I didn't imagine that. I did not imagine that.
I don't think there's any way that you could have possibly imagined that.
No. And I understand. I mean, I get it that sometimes I have woken up in you know, and it could be dreams or hallucinations and things like that. But there have been paranormal elements to the things that I've experienced, and that I think is the difference. You know, the Roman Catholic checklist, and they give us quite a good guideline to check for things like possession, but really one of the things on that checklist is that there must be evidence that there is a paranormal event happening.
Yeah.
And I, like with Incubus attack, I couldn't say that anything else happened then, and I was under a great deal of stress then. So it's all very much, I don't know. I really don't know. And it comes down to, well, what do you believe? In your heart of hearts, what do you believe, or where's the evidence leading you here? I do tend to have a foot in both camps, you know, with the spiritual and the scientific.
Yeah.
One does not negate the other. I know that science doesn't really hold, you know, much belief in the spiritual. But the spiritual people can believe in science if they want, you know, they can, that can be part of what they believe.
Yeah.
Which it is for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I know Incubus, there's Incubus and there's Succubus, isn't there? Succubus are the slightly dirtier, randier ones as such.
No, Incubus is the male version and Succubus is the female version.
That's what it is, yeah.
Quite often they attack the opposite sex.
Right.
That seems to happen quite often, but not only. Some, you know, women have been attacked by the old hag, called old hag syndrome as well.
Yeah.
So there's different characters really in the Incubus experience, or in the old hag experience. You get the young male, young female, old female, and the imp, the little imp.
Yeah.
Maybe sits on your chest or something like that. So these characters appear time and time again with lots of different people, you know. And I realised, I guess, because of the internet and Facebook and going on to groups and reading that other people had experienced this, and I wasn't alone in what I'd experienced.
Yeah.
The characters, whether you want to call them archetypes or whatever, that had appeared to me had appeared to other people, you know. And I looked at artwork, drawings and things like that, and saw that the artwork, these artists, it reflected my experiences. So I used that in my book and in my talks as well, that I'd like to, it would be great to know why the artist did that, you know. Had they experienced it themselves?
Yeah, because usually you have to, I do a lot of art, and usually what I draw is something that I've seen. So you have to have that image somewhere, don't you, as to put it out there. So where does it come from if you've not experienced it?
Or had friends, you know, maybe a friend had described an experience and they decided to draw it for them, or you know, but it would be interesting to find out about. Some of these are medieval paintings. You're not going to be able to interview
No.
the painter now, but it's something that I know I'm not alone in experiencing.
Yeah. So when you did that first exorcism, was it just you by yourself doing this?
Yeah.
God, you must have been so brave. I don't think well, I know that you have to obviously am I right in that you have to be ordained or baptized or something to be able to do an exorcism?
No, and I wasn't at the time. I wasn't ordained at the
Okay.
time. It was quite a number of years before my ordination. So, I mean, you're talking like what, about 7 years till I was ordained. I think I just was the right person at the right time to do that with the right attitude for it. It felt right. It felt like I did something right, you know, that it became like, this is my calling.
Yeah, I think that was obviously because I find like within my own story and people that I speak to on here, there's always like things that happen to them and it goes out throughout their life. Then you think like, why has this happened to me? Why has this happened to me? And then when you get to a certain point in your life, you're like, well, that's why it happened to me because I'm meant to be doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I had other skills under my belt because I'd come through, as I said to you, I went through spiritualism and various different things, and a big part of my life, many years, was spent in paganism, neo-paganism. And I had a lot of different skill sets that like using the elements to protect the space and to cleanse the space, you know, like with salt, earth, air, water, spirit. So doing what I would do in a pagan ritual to create a cleansed space. I also used black salt at the door. Black salt's just salt with ash added, but it's thought to be a powerful protector.
Yeah.
I also used things like holy oil and holy water, and invoked these major beings like Jesus and Mary, and asking God for help, and it clearly worked. Clearly what I did worked because the hailstones happened, and
that's amazing. Right, I don't think I think if anything weird happened like that, at the moment I would definitely be like, I need to like call somebody else in. I mean, I've got it where in our paranormal group people have had attachments and stuff like that. That happens obviously quite a lot when you work in paranormal, doesn't it? Especially if you don't protect yourself and you're in there shouting at the spirit and annoying them, and they're just like, yeah, well. I'm quite respectful. I'm like, hello, I'm here to learn all your stories and I'm here with respect. And, you know, I get off quite lightly most of the time, touch wood. But yeah, I've seen it with people get attachments, and I try and cleanse everyone before we go home. I tell the spirits to stay where they are. I try and do my part, but I know that we've had a couple of people in our group who've had like quite severe ones, and I've had to like get somebody else in because I'm not prepared for that at all. But it does happen. But whether in like another 20 years or something, and I'll be like, yeah, that's fine, just come over, I'll sort you out and you'll be fine. Who knows?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're right. It is thought that a member of somebody who's ordained and trained would be the best person for the job. But I felt that, well, I don't know any priests.
Yeah.
I'm not Roman Catholic, and I've done plenty of pagan rituals, and I can adapt this very well to incorporate the most powerful elements of both of these things, and get this spirit out of here, because I've made it clear to it, you're not staying. When the Incubus thing happened, when I was in my late 20s, I think 27-ish, maybe a bit later, when that happened, I was terrified. But over the years, with other experiences, I've realised that I don't have to be terrified, and I can take that emotion, that fear, and I can change it into something else. So I changed that into anger, but righteous anger. That, by that I mean that being was negative and should not have been there, and I wasn't going to let it be there.
Yeah, like reclaiming your power type thing.
Get him out of my home. You can't be here, and I'm going to throw everything at you until you leave. And you certainly can't attack me. That's just not on. I'm just not going to put up with that.
Yeah.
So that was my attitude, and my attitude very much changed over the years. To realise that I was much more in control than I had thought. That my mind could do much more than I gave it credit for. And even when I was in a state of paralysis, my mind wasn't paralysed. So I could come out of my body and defend myself.
Yeah.
In situations, and I did do that on one occasion, and drew pentagrams, and I visualized it as being fire, and because I was out of body, I could see these pentagrams of fire all the way around my bed to protect it. The pentagrams, I know that the upside down pentagram is very much associated with Satanism, so is the upside down cross. Although the upside down cross is also associated with St. Peter. But the pentagram upright, the 5 points are earth, air, spirit, water, and fire. So the five elements. And that is a very, very powerful symbol of protection. That's why witches wear it, or they're called witches. I think
I've got one behind me, actually. I've got, just in case no one knows what one looks like.
Oh, right, there you go. Yeah, that's gorgeous.
There you go.
That's absolutely gorgeous. See, nice I have no problem with any of that kind of stuff. I understand that there's a point where you have to be extremely careful what you're doing. That's up to the individual to research what they're doing before they do it.
Most definitely.
But things like that symbol is a very powerful protection symbol. I've got no problems when I see anybody wearing one. I've got 2 of them. So yeah, that was I've used that symbol before as protection.
Yeah, I've not got a problem with. I mean, in front of me, I've also got up there. I've got a wooden cross as well, which people watching this might find quite surprising because they obviously think I'm, quite spooky and into my witchy stuff. I might have pentagram, but I've got a cross. I wear a St. Benedict's. I wear a St. Michael's when I go out doing my ghost hunting things, because I don't see it all as separate things. I see it as all one big thing.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, it's all, for me, it's all intertwined. It's, it all comes from somewhere. We all got it carried down through, ancestors, storytellers. It all must have been one thing to start with, maybe, and then got separated.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true, but
I think I tend to think of us as, if you can imagine, like, God, whatever we think God is right in the centre, and we're all just coming at it from different angles. We're all just looking at it from our own point of view, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing, and that includes whether it's science or whether it's a spiritual route that you go down, and taking the spiritual route, you are in a completely different realm from science, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm not sure science can ever explain the spiritual.
No.
I'm
no,
not
it's
sure.
funny, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yet the spiritual can explain science.
Yeah, but the other way about it is difficult. And I think that's why we get such a hard time from atheists.
Yeah.
Scientists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was telling my husband something yesterday, and he was like, I think I explained it, and he just went, "Oh, right, cool story." And I was like, why you not just listen to me? He said, "Look, I've told you, until I actually see something, I will not believe a single word." And I was like, right, okay.
I think we have to concentrate our efforts and our energies to send that experience to your husband. What do you say?
Yeah, I think I would absolutely love that. I don't think he would enjoy it, but I would be like,
I'll
yes,
pay on it.
yes, let's do it. His friend actually watches my videos, so his friend will probably be messaging him, be like, they're planning something. Prepare yourself. But we need to allow him to have this experience so that he can understand that the world is much bigger than what he thinks it is.
Yeah,
it's some divine intervention that we're creating, not.
It is difficult though for people when they've not experienced anything. As I say, years can go by when I've not had an experience, and I think, life is just the physical, the mundane, and if I hadn't had the experiences I have, I would stay in that mindset, of, well, nothing's happened to me, how can I believe in it?
Yeah, I had a period like that. I mean, I was born a medium, and for a long period of time, I had nothing happen to me. I didn't see anything, hear anything, feel anything, because I probably had to be a human for a while and experience human things. And now that's all ramping up again. So, but then, there might be a period in my life where something happens and I have to be totally human again and not be away with my friends on the other side. Which they're all great. I like it because I find it comforting that I know that I'm in my darkest times. If I sit there and I'm just I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know what my next steps are. I just need some help. I know that there is people, even if I'm not particularly listening, I've got a team behind me that are pushing me, being like, it's right, you've got it. Tomorrow's a new day. And I find that comforting.
Yeah, my husband's a psychic medium, and he has a whole team of guides that give him advice and tell him stuff all the time. They're always with him. He considers himself really lucky that way. So it's good if you've got those things to draw upon. But if you don't, if you're somebody who's coming from where your husband's coming from, and doesn't have that that sense of protectedness, from these others, like it might be angels or spirit guides. And if you don't have that, then it probably fear comes into it.
Yeah.
I think so. Just that fear of the unknown, like, well, I don't want that to happen to me. And that is a self-fulfilling prophecy, really, because if you don't want something to happen to you, then chances are your experiences, your paranormal experiences, will be quite limited because you've not opened yourself up to it. Now, there is a danger in opening up to it as well, obviously. And that's up to the individual.
Yeah, because you can literally bring anything in.
As a priest and psychic mediums would say the same exactly. You can bring anything in, and you have to know how to keep them out, how to protect yourself, the things, and there are things that you can put in place to do exactly that. But some people just don't have the interest in the spirit world or religion or anything like that. So that's up to them. The first step, I would say, would be meditation. Just quite simple meditation, sitting down, putting on some music, and just seeing what images come into your mind. And that is the first step. I always do the opening up the chakras. And I find that really helpful to when I get to the third eye, when that opens and I start seeing images coming through. So I find that really helpful.
What do other members of the church say when you talk about like chakras and things like that? Is it like a 50-50 split on people that like understand it?
The OCAC are good that way, and that they you can. It's how you find God. It's your experience of God and what your path is. It's within the confines of the OCAC, and the sermons are, and we do the Mass. I do the Roman Catholic Mass once a month, or you can do a liberal Catholic Mass as well. There's that too, because it is a liberal Catholic church, and by liberal it means that you are free to find God however you find God. So if that includes opening up the chakras or doing a bit of yoga or whatever, then they're not going to point the finger and say that's demonic. If you're and it's other things as well, like if you're a woman, or you're divorced, or you're gay, or whatever, that doesn't matter. Those things don't matter. That's not what Jesus is about. That is definitely not what Jesus is about. So those things are, disregarded.
My husband and I always talk about things like this, and because I think I've always thought that churches are like some of the most beautiful buildings that we have on this planet. And I always, ever since I was little, I've always found peace in a church, and always just walked in and been in such awe of like the artwork, the woodwork, everything. and even like the feeling around it. And I was saying to him, like, what's going to happen to churches if like younger people now, all they're interested in is like TikTok and stuff? Like what? And you know, there's so now humans themselves are so diverse, and if certain religions or churches aren't accepting of those people, what's going to happen to the churches? Because there's only going to be a certain amount of generations that are like, you know, still as they are now. These ones coming up, they're going to be like, well, I'm just not going to go.
Well, if that happens, and I don't know, I think these things go through, you know, their highs and lows of membership. But I certainly have been in churches that are not used very frequently, and they're not like maintained, and they're kind of falling apart a wee bit. And you just know that if they're just left like that, they're going to end up a ruin.
Yeah.
You know,
I can't stand seeing ruined buildings.
Oh,
I would happily buy them all and live in them all and do them all up.
It's sad, but the feeling of going into churches when I was pagan, doing that, I had to go to Greece and Italy as part of a travel requirement for my degree. And it was when we were in Italy and in Rome in particular that I walked into these churches and realised, with my jaw hanging open, oh wow,
yeah,
this is incredible. And after that, a friend said to me, go into every church you pass. They're free. Just walk in. Just, you know, you just get the character. Every one of them has a different character and personality. You know, you feel that the different energy and the different vibes that are in each one, and they are incredibly beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
The European churches are incredibly beautiful. They're marble, and I know that they're like, you know, ornate, and there's lots of gold, and people are really against the church for being surrounded by so many riches when so many people are poor, and that is a point. That is a point.
Yeah.
However, I have walked into some of these places and my spirit was uplifted. And I know that that's the intention of them.
Yeah.
I know that it's the intention of them. And it did do that. And I realised, because I was one of the people who was saying this, about, you know, all the money that they've got and blah, 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 and it's disgusting, and all the gold in the church is disgusting.
Yeah.
And you can walk into one of these churches and there's a Michelangelo painting, a gorgeous Michelangelo painting just there, you know, and all these tourists are outside and they're just walking by and they're not coming into these churches and they don't realise what's in here.
Yeah.
They're not advertised. It's just if you happen to walk in.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They really are. And we're so lucky. We've got a really beautiful church. We've got a few beautiful churches in Glasgow, but there's one in particular, St. Aloysius, and it comes up regularly as one of the most beautiful in the world, and it is.
Yeah.
It is stunning. It's like one of these big European churches, and all the years that I'd stayed in Glasgow, I didn't know about it. I didn't realise, and I'd never been in it until I started to explore Christianity a little bit more. And then I started Glasgow Pilgrims, which is just going round all the different churches in Glasgow. Got a couple of regular pilgrims, a couple of others that sometimes join us, but not always. it's not something that like you sign here and you must come every week, you know, it's nothing like that. It's just for people who fancy trying out church or they don't want to go themselves. I don't care if they're just there to have a look at the architecture. That's fine. If you want to come with us, come with us. It's no, you know, none of this doorstep proselytizing, you know, nothing like that. I can't stand that. I really can't. And if somebody wants to believe what they believe, that's fine. I'm not going to, you know, try and change their mind.
I think you're understanding that people change their own minds, don't they?
You're actually better to just leave them to do exactly that and come to their own conclusions about certain things. And just because it's no one size fits all when it comes to religion, and what's right for me might not be right for you. So I'm not going to push. But I mean, I know I'm supposed to and do on occasion tell people about the good news, but I just find it better to, if people want to discuss things like that, fine, I'll discuss it, but to try to make somebody believe what I believe, that I actually don't think that's a good idea at all.
No.
And I came to that because I think when I came through paganism, that is, you know, one of the main things is you don't try to make people pagan. They'll come to it if they come to it in their own good time. But I think it should be the same with every religion, and that I try to keep that in mind.
I think it's a really good way of looking at it.
Yeah,
definitely. So since you've become like an exorcist, because I think when people hear the word exorcist, they don't think that there's, I don't know if it's because of movies and stuff like that, but they always seem like very extreme and very rare. But I personally don't think that exorcisms are actually that rare. I think there's obviously a lot going behind the scenes that people don't talk about openly. So have you had to do many exorcisms since you obviously did that one on
in
yourself?
the flat? Yeah, I have. I've done 3. It was with the same person, and each time the demon left, but it did come back. And yeah, I'm not in contact with that person anymore. So that's where we left it. But I did witness the demon taking over the person, and at a certain point you know that it's going to be expelled. And it was, and a great deal of air came out the mouth. It wasn't just burping. It wasn't that, because there was too much of it that came out. You know, it just seemed to be like, oh my goodness. That, you know, and I've seen like the healing response happen with other people, and because exorcism is a form of healing. And I saw that happen with a friend of ours Ian gave a healing to, and as soon as the healing was complete, she went and threw up.
I can imagine.
Greatly threw up. She was really sick a lot. Then she came back in, and for the first time in however many months since she'd been ill, she didn't feel sick. You know, that had left her. And that is what you call a healing response.
You know,
just that purge and get that, whatever it is, get it out. get it out, you know, and it's not healthy.
No, I can imagine that it happens a lot more than we actually think it probably happens.
Yeah, because we all have stresses in our lives and we all keep things in, and that contributes. And the things that happen to us contributes. I'm not going to say that, like, well, atheists don't get possessed, because I don't know, but I know that this woman was not a great believer in Christianity. So that is a very big reason for why that might not have been helping her. She wasn't willing to do what was being asked of her.
Yeah.
No, if you want to buy into, and I don't mean like there was no money. There was no money. I mean, mentally buy into the process of an exorcism. You have to have faith in the person that's going to save you, and that's not the exorcist. That's Jesus.
Yeah, you're just
that's
channel for it.
That's the main channel, exactly. That's the main guy that's going to save you. And if you don't have the faith that that's going to happen,
and not much hope.
Exactly. I mean, 3 times I brought down those energies of Jesus and Mary and angels and saints and all. I mean, there was a whole host of things, and I felt those energies. I was never once scared. Never once. People have asked me that.
Yeah.
You're not scared, like, because this person's like growling and writhing about, and the people that I've spoken to, I've said, were you not terrified? And I said, no, because I had every faith that I was going to be protected. I had every faith that those energies were there. I felt them there. I actually feel them here now.
Yeah.
Just because I'm talking about them. I feel them with me. And it's this sort of sense of calmness and peace just descends. And that's probably something that at that point this lady needed. She didn't have a lot of calmness in her life. And in any case, it worked for her. It worked for her 3 times, but in order for it to stay working,
you've got to
have to follow the advice of the exorcist, and that it can be different with different people. But one of the main things that I've said to people is to go to church. It's just a really simple thing, but when you go to church, there's more than just a guy up there talking about God. It's more than just that. You're getting a lesson, a piece of advice for things that might happen in your life. You're getting the community round about you. You're getting, I don't know if you've ever read The Science of the Sacraments.
No.
It's a really good book. It's by Charles Leadbeater. Early days of liberal Catholicism. And he was also involved with the Theosophical Society, so he had ties there as well. So he was a Theosophist, and he was a liberal Catholic priest, and he got mediums to go into churches and tell them what they saw in churches. And they talked about the energies rising up through the spires, and that's why the churches were built the way they were built. And this, like, things like singing and prayer would like raising the energy and the vibration. And then it's sending it up through the spire, up and out into the community. And they could see all this, and they could see the angel above the altar. that then led me to, when I went into churches, doing the same thing, going into meditation and seeing what I could see. And in some churches, I've seen the angel above the altar. I've seen a huge angel above the altar. I've had a second experience in that same church, and there's definitely something about that church. Sometimes it's not what the person says. It's not, some churches were built on places of power, pagan places of power.
Yeah.
And that power is still there. And I believe that there are a few churches in Glasgow where I've experienced that. And I know that there's just something just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Than in any other church. Some churches are magnificent, but you get nothing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know?
Yeah, I've experienced that a few times where you just go and you're like, oh, this is nice. And then other times you're just like almost in tears because of what's happening around you.
Yeah, that happened in Notre Dame Cathedral. I was in tears there.
Yeah.
Because I'd been very ill at the time, and I had gone in and found a picture. I was gone all round the place, and the last place that I looked, there was a picture, a painting of Mary. It was Madonna and Child, Mary and Jesus. But it was the way that she was looking. She had looked with such sympathy that I needed, that I wasn't getting. That feeling that I wasn't getting, I was given it in abundance from her, and it flooded me, and the tears just came.
Yeah.
You know, I had to sit down and I just sat in Notre Dame and let them flow and listened to the choir, which were beautiful. It was beautiful. They were singing in French. I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what they were actually singing, but that sometimes doesn't matter. I've sat and just meditated while, if it was like a Latin mass, and it was a Latin choir, they were singing Latin. And I just sat and listened and got the vibe of it, you know?
Yeah.
Rather than, I don't need to know the words, I just need to know what's the
think
intention.
it's universal, isn't it? The same with like operas that are in different languages. You're still there experiencing what other people are experiencing. You don't have to.
Example, actually,
Yeah, I love it.
Definitely.
Honestly, I could talk to you all day. It's so fascinating. I will definitely have to get you back on because it's been amazing.
Anytime.
Yeah, it's just so fascinating. I love talking about these types of things, like really deep, important conversations.
Yeah, me too. I love talking.
Yeah, they're amazing. So what we like to do when we finish up the podcast is I do a this or that, which is a little bit of fun. And then we finish with like one final question where you impart your wisdom on everyone. Although I think you've done plenty of that during this, but we can always get a little bit more.
Okay.
So let's go. So UFOs or ghosts?
Ghosts.
Spiritual contact or extraterrestrial contact? God, that was a long word.
Spiritual contact.
Ancient alien theory or interdimensional visitors?
Interdimensional visitors.
Personal experience or physical evidence?
Personal experience.
See, I thought you were going to say physical evidence because you've clearly had so much personal experience.
I know.
Light beings or shadow beings?
What is this? What I like?
Yes. Would you rather? Yeah, I suppose shadow beings is quite good for your exorcism side, but then light beings is quite good just to have around.
Yeah. I think it would have to be light beings, really.
Yeah.
I've seen shadow beings.
Yeah.
And they're weird.
An interesting one, aren't they? Yeah. Psychic mediumship or scientific investigation?
Psychic mediumship.
Oh, this is a good one. The Loch Ness Monster or grey aliens?
Loch Ness Monster?
Obviously.
I think it's a dinosaur ghost. There you go. That's what I think it is. It's the ghost of a dinosaur.
Well, it does look like those really, I don't even know what dinosaur it is. The ones with the really long necks, and their short tails. That's what it looks like.
Brontosaurus or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't.
There's definitely something to it. That's a whole nother story, though, isn't it? Crop circles or close encounters?
Close encounters.
So I think I know the answer to this one. Scottish Highlands or outer space?
Ooh. Because I do love outer space. But, if I didn't say Scottish Highlands, I would feel like I was letting the side down. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say Scottish Highlands. They are very beautiful.
They are definitely. Disclosure in our lifetime or secrets forever?
I reckon probably secrets forever.
Yeah. I had this discussion with someone and we were saying like it would be kind of boring if you knew everything. Like there'd be nothing to like look into or
but also countries won't tell each other what they're up to, so
no,
I can't see it unless at some point they all reach some agreement and they decide that they are going to be open and tell us, but I don't see that happening.
No.
I think it's natural. It's like natural human behaviour almost.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You'll keep your cards close to your chest, rather than let people know.
Yeah, they're probably thinking like, well, if your alien comes over here, we've got our aliens to deal with your aliens type thing.
Yeah.
True. It's very, very likely. So our final question for you, Alyson, is, in your view, are UFOs and paranormal experiences separate phenomenon? I'm surprised I said that right. And or are they part of one greater interconnected reality we just haven't fully yet understood?
I think they can be part of the same thing, but I don't think that is in every case. I think UFO is like an umbrella term, and there's many different kinds of UFOs and UFO encounters. Some have a paranormal element, and some simply don't. They're the very physical element, so that's quite difficult. It's quite difficult to say, but certainly I think that it is perfectly possible for UFOs to have that paranormal side. In fact, years later, after the Incubus attack, I found out that there was a UFO which was seen and imploded above my flat in the same month that I had that Incubus attack.
Oh, wow.
And it was a sort of a blue plasma. Now, when I woke, I talked about seeing a strange shade of blue.
Yeah.
And this person separately identified this plasma whatever. So whether that was what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Like into another dimension, or what? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a physical like spaceship though. It doesn't sound like that, does it?
No.
No.
This world is just so
Strange. It's very strange, but true.
I know, but I love it. I wouldn't be anywhere else. No. Oh, we'd have nothing to talk
The
about.
Scottish Islands.
Well, yeah, I'd be there any day. I love Scotland. Scotland's like amazing. It's one of my favourite places. So I'm originally from Norwich, Norfolk area, but my husband's from Northumberland. We moved to Northumberland in 2021. So I'm almost at Scotland. We might shove up that way one day.
Good.
That's
Great.
my secret plan. Well, we used to go to Scotland all the time when we were kids because my granddad's Scottish. So we loved it. And so I might go back. I can go for holidays quite easily, can I? I'll just go up the road.
What part of Scotland was he from?
He was from, well, it's spelt Courtbridge, isn't it? But he said Courtbrig.
Courtbridge, right? So that's just kind of north of Glasgow, northeast, I think. We've got friends
quite
that stay in
close.
Courtbridge. I've actually never heard it called Courtbrig.
Yeah, he always called it Courtbrig. Don't know why.
Yeah.
Could just be him being quirky. I don't know. He's not around to ask anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, it was always funny because we'd get literally past the Scottish border and I could no longer comprehend a word he said. He'd literally just cross the line and he'd be like, blah, 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 and I'd be like, who are you?
And it's quite, I think, Scottish accent, it's quite often quite quicker than the English accent.
Yeah. We always thought he was quite bad when he was in Scotland. And then we went to visit his cousin. And there was an incident where she gave me and my sister like a £1 note or something. And she was just like, blah, 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 blah. And we just looked at my granddad because we didn't know whether she'd asked us to go to the shop and get something for her or whether she was giving it to us because we just couldn't understand what she was saying. We were like, what did she just say? Can you translate? Because it was just so quick. And we were like, but yeah, we had some brilliant times in Scotland and I would definitely love to go back very soon. I might take my husband on a spooky Edinburgh tour actually.
Ooh.
And then he might get his experience.
Well, if you're up this way, give us a shout.
I will do.
Coffee or something.
Definitely. That sounds like a very good plan. So I will put your descriptions, in the description, your links and everything so that people can connect with you. Okay. But if people don't read the descriptions, which many people do, and they really should, because there's some juicy stuff in there. How would people find you?
I've got a couple of websites. There's AlysonDunlop.com. Just remember it's ALYSON. AlysonDunlop.com or RevAlysonDunlopShanes.com. I think that's right.
Yeah. You might have to read the description, people, to get that one. Because it's a long one.
Yeah. So they can get in touch that way. I've also got a group, Supernatural Secret Scotland, on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So they can reach me there or they can email me at supernaturalsecretscotland@gmail.com.
Fabulous. And you also have a book. We briefly touched on the book, but you should also check out Alyson's book. Yeah,
Mystic Visions. It's all about my experiences and things like that, investigation.
Fabulous. And it's on Amazon, isn't it? Is it on Amazon?
At the moment, the Audible is available on Amazon, but it's been taken off because it was published by Philip Mantle, his group. Trying to think, it was something disc. Anyway, and Philip isn't very well just now, so he's decided to just take like all the books that he was publishing for people. He's decided not to do that, and I think he's just like concentrating, just advertising his own.
Yeah.
So I will be republishing it. I don't know when, and I think I want, if I'm going to do a second edition, then I think I would want to maybe include a few more photographs.
That'd be cool.
So since my mum is now in a nursing home and I've kind of inherited all the family photographs, there's a lot, and I thought, I should have put that would have been good to put that in there,
Yeah, I do like it when you read a book and you can actually like see, especially if you're reading about someone's like story. It's always good to have like the pictures in there. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I know what you mean about inheriting photos. I've got a whole shelf of them over there that I need to do something with.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's just getting the time.
I know.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. It's been really interesting. Like I said, we're definitely going to have you back because there's like about 1 million different topics that we could discuss and talk about.
Anytime.
Fab. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Please go check Alyson out, and please make sure you drop us some comments. Let us know what your biggest takeaway was. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because so many of you that watch don't. So it'd be really nice if you did, because we've got loads of things coming, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unknown on Shell's After Dark archives. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a story that sends chills down your spine. I'd love to hear about your own paranormal experiences, so drop a comment or send me a message. Your story might even be featured in a future episode, and if you're loving the show, please leave a like and share it with your fellow seekers of the supernatural. For those who want even more exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and bonus episodes, join the membership. You'll find the link in the description below. Your support keeps the lights off and the stories coming. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and keep exploring the shadows. See you in the archives, After Dark.